Good day. Today our special report, we follow a family from Bethlehem that went to Moab 10 years ago. I will speak with the remainder of the family as they return to Israel. This special report is about Ruth and Naomi. Listen in as Naomi gives us some background on their family and their struggles. We start this report today with the matriarch of the family, Naomi. Welcome, Ms. Naomi. Can you give us an idea as to why your family relocated to Moab and what life was like for you all there?
Thank you, my dear, for coming today to talk with me and Ruth. About 10 years ago, there was a famine in the land of Israel, so my husband Elimelech and our 2 sons Mahlon and Chilion decided to move to the country of Moab. I lost my husband and our 2 sons died in Moab. I was saddened, overcome with grief, and decided to go back to my homeland. I told my 2 daughter-in-laws to go back to their people. One listened, but Ruth could not be persuaded. Ruth made the decision to leave all that she was familiar with and journeyed with Naomi to Israel.
Thanks, Naomi. For those new to our channel, let me take a moment and give you some background into this story. In the days when the judges judged, there was a famine in the land. A certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to live in the country of Moab with his wife Naomi, who we are speaking to today, and their 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi. The names of their 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah. They came into the country of Moab and lived there. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. The boys took for themselves wives of the women of Moab. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other was Ruth. They lived there about 10 years. Mahlon and Chilion both died, and Naomi was bereaved of her 2 children and of her husband. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab how Yahweh had visited his people in giving them bread. She went out of the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her. They went on the way to return to the land of Judah. Naomi, did I get the sequence of events correct? Can you tell us what happened at this point?
I told my 2 daughters-in-law, "Go, return each of you to her mother's house. May Yahweh deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. May Yahweh grant you that you may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband." Then I kissed them, and they lifted up their voices, and wept. They said to me, "No, but we will return with you to your people." I repeated myself, "Go back, my daughters. Why do you want to go with me? Do I still have sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Go back, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say, I have hope, if I should even have a husband tonight, and should also bear sons, would you then wait until they were grown? Would you then refrain from having husbands? No, my daughters, for it grieves me seriously for your sakes, for Yahweh's hand has gone out against me." They lifted up their voices and wept again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth stayed with her. She said, "Behold, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her God. Follow your sister-in-law." Then Ruth, bless her heart, said, "Don't urge me to leave you, and to return from following you, for where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May Yahweh do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts you and me." Ruth had always been kind and loving towards me, and I feared she was more concerned about me than herself, but she came with me. When I saw that she was determined to go with me, I stopped urging her to stay. So we both came to Bethlehem.
That must have been quite a trip. Two women traveling for miles on lonely road. Anyway, let's move on. You're now in Bethlehem. Take us from there, give us some details about coming home.
When we arrived in Bethlehem, all the city was excited about us, and they asked, "Is this Naomi?" I told them, "Don't call me Naomi. Call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. I went out full, and Yahweh has brought me home again empty. Why do you call me Naomi, since Yahweh has testified against me, and the Almighty has afflicted me?"
If I remembered correctly, you and Ruth returned to Bethlehem in the beginning of barley harvest?
When we came back, things were hard. Friends and relatives helped us out, but we needed more. Then I remembered we had a relative of my husband's, a mighty man of wealth, of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. It was then that Ruth got the idea she could work in his field. She came to me and said, "Let me now go to the field, and glean among the ears of grain after him in whose sight I find favor." I told her, "Go, my daughter." She went, and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers, and she happened to come to the portion of the field belonging to Boaz, who was of the family of Elimelech. Boaz is originally from Bethlehem. He happens to be in the field that day, and he greeted the reapers, and said to them, "May Yahweh be with you." They answered him, "May Yahweh bless you." Then Boaz said to his servant who was set over the reapers, "Whose young lady is this?" He was referring to Ruth. The servant who was set over the reapers answered, "It is the Moabite lady who came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab." Ruth approached Boaz and said, "Please let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves." So she came, and has continued even from the morning until now, except that she rested a little in the house. Then Boaz said to Ruth, "Listen, my daughter. Don't go to glean in another field, and don't go from here, but stay here close to my maidens. Let your eyes be on the field that they reap, and go after them. Haven't I commanded the young men not to touch you? When you are thirsty, go to the vessels, and drink from that which the young men have drawn." Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground, and said to him, "Why have I found favor in your sight, that you should take knowledge of me, since I am a foreigner?" Boaz answered her, "I have been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, and how you have left your father, your mother, and the land of your birth, and have come to a people that you didn't know before. May Yahweh repay your work, and a full reward be given to you from Yahweh, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." Then she said, "Let me find favor in your sight, my lord, because you have comforted me, and because you have spoken kindly to your servant, though I am not as one of your servants."
Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Naomi. Today's story teaches us about genuine friendship. This is a story of compassion. Their journey teaches us to trust in divine providence and embrace redemption and second chances. This story highlights the importance of inclusion and acceptance.